Hi, welcome to Golden Smiles Part 5, Sensory Stimulation. Senses empower limitations, senses expand vision within borders, senses promote understanding through pleasure. There are many points to consider with our senses. For example, people who are partially sighted and registered blind will often make a mind map of how their room looks. So if, for example, you have a resident like my lovely great aunt that I nursed, we'll call her Doris, she was quite obsessed where her tissue box went, where her cup of tea went, where her radio was, where her speaking clock was, and wherever those items were placed within her bedroom meant that she could feel her way around her room. She knew exactly how many steps from the radio to her chair. She knew exactly how many steps from her speaking clock to her ensuite bathroom. You get the idea. Often senses can overpower. Back to my great aunt. She could often know exactly the ingredients that had gone in to make a cake smell so special, even down to whether it was cinnamon, nutmeg or ginger. Senses can be really useful to encourage people with elements of dementia and acquired brain injury. Things like if you struggle to help Fred into the bathroom, for example, for a bath, it might be useful to use a technique that I've used in the past, where you get a fluffy towel and you give Fred the fluffy towel and he strokes his face with it. And you can talk in a very calm manner about the fluffy towel, how it feels on his face, and about how it will be nice when he's getting dry after a bath. You can give him some soap and let him smell the soap. Use the senses to arouse those parts of the brain to remind Fred what he's doing and what the activity is that he's going to participate in. When you are in the midst of the restrictions because of COVID, touch has become a huge issue with family members and visitors. Sometimes people are huggy people. I know that I am, and I know that we're all really missing those hugs. And how many of you, probably like myself, have done this with a friend from 2 meters to sort of offer a hug? There's some other useful techniques when we look at what we can see. Consider what your face looks like above the mask. Consider what your eyes are doing. You can see a lot from people's eyes. When we consider things like hearing, if you need to make a confidential phone call, for example, will it be in a private area? Who can hear that conversation? Interestingly, what's the background noise? All different points to consider. A useful technique for people struggling with anxiety or a panic attack. If you have somebody that seems to be starting with a panic attack, you can use the 5-point sense anxiety tool. So immediately grab somebody and say, okay, what's 5 things that you can see? And they need to tell you what the 5 things are that they can see. What's 4 things that you can hear? What's 3 things that you can touch? What's 2 things that you can smell? And what's 1 thing that you can taste? And there's a lot of research that says by the time you've gone through those 5 points, you have grounded your mind and you have established a much calmer state of mind, and you've reduced that state of anxiety and panic. Try it. It's really useful. Sometimes when you have people who are nearing the end of their life, they can have quite a dry mouth. They can have reduced intake orally. They don't seem to want to eat anything. They don't seem to want to drink anything. This is where taste for pleasure is really useful. We are offering small things that you know that people used to enjoy. For example, lemonade or sherry or ice cream or something sweet. Just to dab on somebody's lips. Maybe doing some mouth care using one of those tastes that you know people enjoy. Another thing that you can do with taste, it's really useful if you have somebody who you are assisting to feed, then when you are helping them, give them a spoon to hold so that they are part of the activity. If somebody won't open their mouth, try just for a moment, get an orange or a tangerine, peel the orange or the tangerine, and as it spritzes that juice, it encourages salivation. I defy you now to not be licking your lips because I know that I am. It's a really useful technique to try and encourage and stimulate those extra senses, those taste buds to get going, so that somebody is reminded what the activity is that you would like them to participate in. Senses are really useful for all of us, and there are so many different ways that you can use them. Going outside for a walk, particularly when stressed, I find really useful, and use that anxiety technique. You don't have to just use it when you're anxious. You can use it just to ground yourself and appreciate what's around you. John Burroughs famously said, "I go to nature to be soothed and healed and to have my senses put in order." So I hope you enjoy using some of those techniques. I hope you find it useful, and thank you for watching.